Hey, I'm Mandy from The Steve Shannon Show on 97 ZOK, and welcome back to my living room for another episode of Netflix and Chilled ... Wine, a video series dedicated to the two things that I love to do the most in this world, and that's binge watch Netflix originals and have a nice bottle and sometimes a glass, or this week, a can of chilled wine. If you've never seen my video series before, here's how it works. I watch the very first episode of a brand new show on Netflix, and I give you my play-by-play reaction review of the show. The longer the show, the more I drink, and sometimes the better or the worse the review. This week I'm watching Dark Tourist. It's a show about dark tourism. It's where tourists go and travel to places that are made infamous by murder, mystery, and fortune. And I'm drinking Barefoot Spritzer Rosé, one of my brand new favorites. So this week in the very first episode, they're going to be covering exorcism and Pablo Escobar in Latin America. How much do you suppose a Pablo Escobar lookalike makes? Well, if you're in the market for a new place, Pablo Escobar's apartment's always for sale. I don't think I would feel too comfortable hanging around a murderer, especially somebody who killed people, for Pablo Escobar, but hey, that's part of the Pablo Escobar tour. I think one of my favorite things about the show so far is the host, because he's just awkwardly cute. I don't know if I would be asking a former hitman for Pablo Escobar if he's ever been to a psychologist before. If you've never seen an exorcism before, well, except for the movie in The Exorcist, you're going to see one now. I personally don't think that I could sit through something like this, because I am a firm believer in, you know, things like the devil and dark spirits and stuff, and this is just a little too real for me. Here's something you don't see or hear of every single day, telling a skeleton that's dressed like the Grim Reaper that she's beautiful and pretty. Note to self, if you don't want anybody to ever mess with you, just have a lot of death statues in your house. Okay, David is officially crazy. We hear about this all the time on the news, but this is the first time I think we're really gonna get to see what it looks like when somebody from Mexico tries to jump the border into the United States. We're gonna get an up close and personal look at this. Okay, hold on a second. So this is actually a thing. Like, you can pay to take a tour and be treated like a migrant who's trying to cross the border into the US. Who thinks of this stuff? So we have some clarification, and this totally makes sense. So these tours are created to show people in Mexico that crossing the border isn't safe. And you can have the experience for only $50. It normally costs a real migrant trying to cross the border $3,000. I'm sorry, but no, there is no way I would ever pay any kind of money to take this tour, because maybe I've seen too many TV shows, but it's really hard to tell that this is all just some kind of game or a tour. I would never be able to determine whether or not I'm dealing with real life or something that's totally not real, but it seems pretty real to me. Alright, we're at the very end of the first episode of Dark Tourist on Netflix. And I really enjoyed the show, mostly because I have a morbid curiosity, but I'm also not brave enough to do some of the things that David's been doing so far on the show. So this is a really good way to kind of see some of those things without actually having to do them, so I can stay safe but yet get to see some of the darker sides of the corners of the world. So I'm going to keep watching, but it's going to be at my leisure. It's definitely not a binge-worthy show or anything, but I definitely enjoy it, and I'll be making sure to watch Dark Tourist from time to time. So let me know what you're watching on Netflix and what should I watch next. And make sure that you subscribe to ZOK TV so you know when the next episode of Netflix and Chilled ... Wine is on.